Hey guys, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is Days of Our Lives edition. Today is Wednesday, June the 15th, 2022. On a scale of 1 to 10, I am still loving Days of Our Lives, so I'm going to give it about an 8. Um, Maybe an 8.5. It was a really good episode to me. It's sad, but it's really good. All right, so let's just get right into this. We see that everyone is getting the news that Abigail has passed, and I'm going to start with Trip. So he's talking to Ava, and he's just letting Ava know that he's going to go away for a little bit, but he says he will be back. We all know he's going to be on Salem for a little while, so he'll probably come back after he gets done with that. So yeah, that and I'm not gonna hold you long on this. That's it with Trip and Ava. She just like, okay, I'm if you need to go because of everything that's happened with Allie being possessed by the devil, almost dying, I understand. And he says, and everything with Abigail as well. And she was like, what's going on? And he was like, Abigail was murdered in her home and Chad found her and everything. And she's like, wow, do they have any suspects? And I said, Ava, you my girl, don't tell me you were in this. But y'all know I already told you, I think Gwen called Ava and Ava helped Gwen out whatever she was needing. Because remember, Gwen had two phone calls. The first one it was to Leo, and the phone call, we don't know who she talked to. I think it was Ava. Because who else was she? Who else? But anyway, so then we see that's it with Trip and Ava. So then Trip talks to Steve later on, and he tells Steve that should he stay because of everything going on with Abigail, and Steve says no, just go and be, you know, live your life, and everything here will be okay. We'll hold down the fort, and so Trip is gonna go, and that's it with them, y'all. That was Trip leaving, I guess, leaving the show as of today, officially leaving. But he should be coming back after the whole Beyond Salem and everything. All right. So then who do we have? Let's go to. So speaking of Steve, he's on the phone and he's like, if you need anything, Rafe, need me to help about what's going on with Abigail, just let me know. So Jake hears this and he was like, what's going on with Abigail? And so Steve tells Jake that Abigail, was murdered and everything. He was like, you don't have anybody close that would talk to him. He was like, no, Abigail was the person that would keep me informed on what was going on with the family. So Jake had no clue that this has happened to Abigail. Plus, I mean, it's all still fresh, but AJ, you could have told the man. But AJ's dealing with a lot too, but Belle over there helping with the kids, but you still could have called him up and told him what was going on or whatever. So there's that. And so then Jake goes to see Chad, and Kate is still there visiting Chad, and he's just like, she lies to him, y'all. She tells Chad, Lucas didn't know. I didn't tell Lucas that Abigail knew everything about him kidnapping Sammy. And he was like, oh, and he was like, you didn't. She was like, no. So he had no reason to want to do this to Abigail. And so he was like, okay. And so Jake is just, Chad is just like, I'm going through a lot. I'm sorry. He was like, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to. And she was like, don't apologize. Because he was like, I didn't mean to accuse you of anything. He was just like, I'm not in my right mind right now. And she was like, I completely understand. I'm not going to hold y'all long on this. And so she just tells him, I completely understand. If there's anything I can do for you, I know, it's not much, but like please let me know. And so as she's about to leave, Chad is there, Jake is there, and Chad looks back and he's just like, oh. And Kate tells Jake, this is not a good time. And Jake says, I'm here to pay my condolences. And she tells, so Kate tells, Chad, if you need anything, I'll be here, but I'm about to go ahead and go. So he leaves, and Jake says, can I come in? And Chad doesn't tell him yes, but he doesn't tell him no. He just walks away. So Jake closes the door, and they sit down or whatever in the living area, and Jake starts telling Chad about the first time he met Abigail and how he worked on her car and she gave him a book, and Chad, he couldn't remember the name, and Chad corrected him on the name, and he was like, yeah, that's the one. He said, she told me you would like it. And he was like, it was like she was giving me a piece of her, like she was the first person to give him like an olive branch, who was kind to him, who tried to welcome into the family. And he was like, as opposed to me. And Jake was like, I didn't say that. He said, you didn't have to. And he was like, I'm sorry. And Chad tells Jake, I'm sorry for thinking it was something more between you and Abigail than what it was. Like, I know now y'all are just friends. And he said, and letting Gwen twist me into thinking it was more than that. And he said, I hurt Abigail badly, and but we made up for all that. He's just talking to Jake, and he's like, we made up with that. We were in a good place. We were happy. And then he was like, and we were gonna have a baby. And then Jake is like, dang, and Chad is just breaking down. And so Jake goes over and he rubs on his back and everything, just giving support. I like that they're like not letting them bicker and all that kind of stuff, and not having Chad just shut off on them or whatever. It was a nice moment to see between Chad and Jake. I'm sad it happened because Abigail died, but I'm glad that they had, that moment, and they let it be a nice moment, and it was not overly where, he was hugging all on Jake. He was just supporting him, in his way. I like that moment. So then we see that Jake is about to leave and Gabby shows up. Now Gabby had been with Lee, and he had made a press report. It was a press report going out, and he was trying to tell Gabby, but she said, "Oh, I just got a ding on my phone or whatever." And she read it, and she said, "Oh, this is wrong. It says that Abigail was murdered or whatever." And at least it's not wrong. And she says, "No, this has got to be some sick joke." He said, "No, I heard it from EJ directly." So EJ, if you did that, then you could have called Jay. Now, come on, EJ. But and she said, "Oh, you heard it from EJ?" Then that mean, and he said, "No, because she was like, well, that EJ is trying to just do something," and he was like, "No, I called Salem police department, and it's true." And so she starts breaking down because she was like, Abigail and I used to be really good friends, like we were best friends. And then something happened and we broke up. And she said, but going after Gwen, we came back together, or whatever. And it was just like they made peace. Like they weren't friends, but they were okay with each other, And so she said, she was sad to hear about Abigail because, she was sad about how their relationship with, and they never got the chance to like repair that and everything. And so Lee just tells her, I'm here for you, because she said you didn't, think you were gonna get all this, and he was like, I'm here for you. I don't care, I like you, and I don't care about all the baggage you come with. I'm in this for the long run. I said, ooh, okay, you're gonna get your heart broken because this girl is still in love with Jake. And point being, she goes over to see Chad. Jake is coming out, and she was like, "What are you doing here?" And he was like, came to give my condolences to Chad." And she was like, "How's he doing?" He was like, "He just lost his wife." And so she and he started going back and forth about Lee, her sleeping with Lee, him sleeping with Ava, and they started going back and forth. I said, "Hey, hey, hey! This ain't the time or the place." I said, "This ain't the time or the place. Y'all do this on your own time. This is about Chad. Now get your butt up in there, Gabby, and give him your condolences. And go on, Jake. This is not the time or the place." But anyways, they start going back and forth. Like, y'all just get back together. But she said he lost the love of his life. That's what he told her. She said, "I know about that." And she was like, she was talking about, what's the boy name? Stephen or whatever. And he was like, uh-huh, yeah. And so then they left. They go away from each other or whatever. And so she goes in and she says, Chad is like, and she's like, "I know you think I'm here, and it's just I didn't care about Abigail." She said, "But I did care about Abigail, and it's not sarcasm. It's not pretending or anything. I really cared about Abigail." She said, "And in the last year, I would like to think we were in a much, better place and everything." And she tells him, she was like, "But I feel sorry for whoever did this." She said, "Because I'm the only one that can mess with Abigail like this. And we're going to get that SOB who did this to her, and we're going to make them pay and everything." I said, "Oh, well, okay then, because I heard Chad supposed to go to a real dark place. And so, all right, y'all going to make them pay." So then we see, child, Gwen. No, I'm not gonna go there. Then we see Jennifer, Steve, and Lucas, and Lucas. Well, at first it was just Steve and Lucas. I mean, excuse me, Jennifer and Lucas, and he's just like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this." And she was like, "Lucas," because she knows how close he and Abigail were, and she says, "I'm sorry about all this or whatever." Not not she's sorry, but she hates that this happened, and she knows how close they were and everything. And he was like, "I'm sorry," and she said, "Why are you sorry?" And he said, because he feels guilty and everything. He said, "Because you were in Boston and I didn't look out for her like I should have." But Lucas sorry because he really think he done killed this girl. Lucas, you did not kill Abigail. Sarah did. I don't care what y'all say on my All Soaps All Day channel. Y'all like, that it was Leo. No, it was Sarah. Leo and them didn't do this. They making it too obvious that they didn't do it. But anyways, quiet as kept. I think it was a mixture of everybody involuntarily doing something that led to this. That's really what I think happened. But anyway, so we see that he's telling her, "I'm sorry." It's because he feels guilty, and she said, "You have nothing to be sorry about. Abigail knew you loved her and everything." And so he's just comforting her. And then Steve tells Jennifer, "Let me take you home." And so she goes home. And so then Kate comes and she tells Lucas, you know, that Chad was all upset and he thought that she was the one who killed Abigail. And he was like, "What?" And she said, "No, he was just grief. It was just in his grief." She said, "But he think you did it." She said, "But I told him that you didn't know that Abigail knew the truth about you kidnapping Sammy." He was like, "Oh my God." And she said, "Where were you last night?" And he said, "I fell off the wagon and I blacked out." And she said, "And my hand is hurt like it was cut with a knife." She said, "Oh my God." I said, "Lucas, you stressed your mama the heck out. You be stressing Miss Kate out." And so she was like, "Lucas, what happened?" And he said, "After you left, I went and snuck a bottle of wine, of a liquor, and I don't remember what happened." He said, "The next thing I know, I'm waking up and I'm passed out. I've been passed out drunk, waking up and got a knife cut on my hand." He said, "And Abigail is dead, and I don't know what happened. I blacked out." And she said, "Oh Lord." And that was it with them guys. So then we go to the prison. So in the prison, we see Jack there, and he's telling Gwen about Abigail, and she said, "Someone's already told me and everything." And she tells him, "We were never close," and she says, "I guess we'll never will be." And so he asked her about she tell the last time she saw her, because she said, "I guess we sealed our own fates." And he was like, "What do you mean by that?" She said, "Well, I saw her yesterday and I asked her, would she take a mug from me to the prison?" Because he said, "Why was Abigail here?" And she said, "Because I called her and I asked her, would she take your birthday gift?" She said she was coming to see you for your birthday. And he was like, "Oh, I didn't know that," because Abigail was gonna surprise him. And she said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, where?" I don't want to ask Chad right now, for his gift. And she said, "No, it didn't make it. I dropped it." She didn't tell him that Abigail, tore it up and everything. She said, "I dropped it." And he was like, "Oh, okay, it's okay." But so she talks to him, and he feels guilty. And she said, "Listen, she knew you loved her. Like, at the end of the day, Abigail knew how much you loved her, and she knew how lucky she was to have you as a dad and in her life and everything. So don't feel guilty." She said, "As I do, I know." He was like, "Thank you for saying that and everything." And when he get ready to go, because I'm not gonna hold you long, she tells him happy birthday. I said, "Dang, it is his birthday. This is a horrible birthday. Like, he'll never want his birthday again." So she tells him happy birthday. Now then we see he go and talk to Jennifer or whatever, and he tells her that Gwen was trying to put up a front, but he could see that she was really shook by what happened to Abigail and everything. And so then Ava come in. I said, "Oh my God," because I said, "If Ava make it over here, something up." And then Ava come in. I said, "Oh Lord, Ava done came." Girl, please don't. Gwen, you're on my girl, and I thought you was doing so much better. But you got something to do with, like, something. And I don't think she did it directly, but involuntarily, I think Gwen had something to do with this, as well as Ava involuntarily. And so Ava come in and she said, Gwen was like, "What are you doing here?" She said, "I know you didn't come to give your condolences." She said, "I heard about Abigail, Ava does." And Gwen said, "I know you didn't come to give your condolences." She said, "No, what I came to ask you was, did you do this?" you know? And so that was a bold and the beautiful child. That was Days of Our Lives, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow for another episode. Bye.